Hello, beautiful ladies. So I was going to do a party tonight and it actually got postponed. And so I thought, you know what? I was really looking forward to doing my makeup because I have this lovely guy right here, as I'm sure you can all see, and this guy here. So my hubby and my boys are away and my girls and I have been like eating our sorrows with a lot of sugar. Way too much sugar. And we've been like binging on chocolate because we've all got our periods too, all of us big girls. TMI, sorry, but it's all girls in this group. So you know. And so the combination of hormones and sugar has created these lovely little visitors on my face. And so I was like, well, it'll be fun to do my makeup. I've been waiting all night. I haven't done my makeup. And so I thought, well, I'll just do my makeup anyways, even though my class got canceled. I'll come on my own group and I'll do my makeup for you guys because I felt like doing it anyways, even though it's like almost bedtime. But anyway, I'm gonna do it anyway. So I thought I'd come on and anybody that's around, we can do it together. So I am going to start with covering up these guys. So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of my Candle Lit. That's my darker highlight shade. And just gonna tap that in. Now, I don't really have to do it this way. In fact, it's possible that if I'm just kind of vigorous and messy with my blending, that I might end up having to go over it later anyway. So I will mention that. Like if you're being really precise, you could start with that. But a lot of times, in fact, maybe I'll stop because this guy here, I'll show you what I do after. I'm just gonna do my quick hack first. I just wanted to cover it because it's been bugging me. I'm gonna do my quick hack first and then I'm going to show you what I do if that's still kind of showing through at the end for anybody that doesn't know. But I thought I'd play with a couple of different colors, maybe do my eyes, do an eye look, and I don't know who all is gonna be around. This is kind of a tricky time. It was gonna be a class in Nova Scotia, so it was 8 o'clock their time. So here it's only 7. So a lot of people still have their kids awake. Mine are still awake upstairs hanging out with my daughters. So it's not like after bedtime and all that. So I get that. So some of you might catch a replay for this, but that's okay. So for anyone that's never seen me do this before, I'm utilizing more than one color here because we don't have just one color in our faces, right? So instead of just flattening my face with just one shade and kind of smothering my face with tons of product, I'm using more than one color. And I'm centering this brighter color very sloppily down the center of my face. I kind of do like a little fountain shape here. Okay, so it's bright, like basically in this area and in like a really rough diamond. I'm just gonna actually draw that diamond so you can see what I'm talking about. So kind of brighter in these areas. You'll notice I did put a little bit of my darker shade on the really dark parts of my eyes because I'll need a little extra coverage in those areas because I'm not, you know, sleeping that well. And then, so that's the brightening area roughly. If you think you've put it in slightly, you know, too low or too high, you can literally move it. Cream is so easy to work with, and that's why people love it, because a lot of women have trouble with foundation, traditional foundation, right? It dries, it sets really quickly on your face, and it dries, it settles into fine lines, it accentuates texture. It's really hard often to get the right color with one flat shade because, again, we don't just have one color of skin. We have so many different pigments in our skin, different levels of pigment. And so if you try to match all of your skin with just one color, it's going to be either slightly dark or slightly light for a lot of those tones in your skin. And so you'll either look like kind of a floating bobblehead, right? Or you might go a little too pale and then end up having kind of that cakey look to your makeup, especially if you want coverage for darker areas. You kind of have to put more and more makeup on in order to cover what you're wanting to cover. And so that just doesn't look very natural either way, right? So I love this stuff because it's creamy, it's so easy to blend. It looks crazy going on, and I don't even know if maybe that's part of the appeal to me, that it's like, it's just a fun little satisfying magic trick when I do it this way. A lot of people don't apply it this way. Once you get the hang of it, you might just apply it straight on with your brush. But I'm also very frugal, so I kind of like just applying as much as I need and not worrying about putting too much on with the brush, because sometimes the brushes can pick up a little too much product. Got hair in my eye here. And you don't want to do that. These creams, the highlights in particular, they should last you 4 months. The contours should last you at least 6 months. And the lip and cheeks, 6+ months. So if you're going through your makeup faster than that, it means you're applying way too much. And that's very common because we're used to just smothering our skin with foundation, you know, pumping that bottle of foundation and smothering it all over our skin. We're not used to this kind of makeup. So with this, you just dot it on. This is as much as I will ever use. This is plenty. And it might be even too much for you to start with. So for you, you might just dot that on, you know, space out those dots, and then blend it all together and see what you think. Generally, less is more. So you just build up to a level that you're comfortable with. So, yes, I'm just going to blend that all together, and I love these brushes. They're very, very, very easy to work with. They're made for the cream, so it just blends like a dream. It's like butter. And I love that they're double-sided, so I can use one end for contours, one end for highlights. It really doesn't tend to hold on to the product and absorb it like other brushes that I've used before. So that's great as well, because I don't find I tend to really, even if I'm using the same side, I don't find I need to stop and clean off the brush. I just want to go around and kind of I usually do the contours first lately, but you can do it with whichever way you want. Contours or highlights first. So I see a thumbs up, but I can't see who's on right now. It's not showing me right now. Anyways, you can do it either way. I kind of like the pointed end to do those small areas like my nose and getting into those little crevices around my eyes up here. So see how I really kind of buffed this out here, and so you can see this little guy pop through. That's a bit of a scar. It was like an open wound yesterday because I was bad and wouldn't leave it alone. Remember, I've been talking about how it's best not to touch your skin. I did not take my own advice because it was a whitehead and I could not leave it alone. Now it's red. Thankfully, I have really good skincare, and I'm amazed by how quickly it starts to heal with that stuff. Like the toner and the cream in particular are just fantastic products. I have really pale, like transparent skin, and so it takes such a long time normally for my skin to heal from anything like that, but it's way quicker now. I'm really, really pleased with it. But even the best skincare is not a substitute for a healthy diet. And when Aunt Flo comes to town, you're likely gonna get a few extra visitors with her. So I'm just going in here. This is just all one brush that I've used so far, as you can see. And it's definitely doable with one brush. I love to use different brushes, but just the 3D brush alone can do a lot for you. So if you're frugal, you can get by with just one brush fairly easily. The nose is one of those areas that's a bit trickier with just the one brush because this is a larger brush. And so I do like to use something like the smudge brush, that was my giveaway for this month, and I have to do the draw for that actually, for my hostesses from July. The smudge brush is an eyeshadow brush, but it's really great even for like this area of the nose. So if you're looking for a good eyeshadow brush and you also want something that can do your nose, this is a really great one. It'll blend those lines nicely for you, and it is double-sided as well. It's got eyeshadow on it right now though. Let me clean it off on my brush cleaning tile. How many of you guys got yourselves a free brush cleaning tile last month with that promo? It's such a handy tool. Okay, so just trying to use my phone and hopefully I can kind of get a sense for what I'm doing here, even though I can't see up close. I'm just gonna add that extra brightener down the center back in because I kind of blended it away with my eyeshadow, since I had eyeshadow on my brush. That's the whole point of that brush cleaning tile. Anyway, that's okay. So see how you can kind of work. I'm gonna pick up my mirror here and cheat. Sorry guys. Yeah, there we go. That's better blended. So again, you just want to keep that line down the center pretty thin. The thinner you have it, the thinner the nose is going to appear. And so not everybody really wants to do that, but one benefit to that, it's always very youthful because the nose keeps growing as we age. So a slender nose just automatically gives the appearance of a youthful face, just because larger noses usually come with age, whether we like it or not. That's kind of the way it goes. So your natural nose structure is a little bit slimmer. So sometimes we don't really notice what's changing about our faces as we age, and change is fine. Like, our faces never stay exactly the same. We're constantly changing, just like our bodies are constantly changing. And that's part of the beauty of humanity, right? Like, we don't stay the same. We keep on changing as we grow and as we age, and that doesn't stop after adulthood. And a lot of times we don't like that because we kind of lose a lot of that identity that I think we feel that we associate with how we look. Unfortunately, we as women a lot of times associate who we are with what we look like. And I don't think that's really right. We get that wrong a lot of times, don't we? And really who we are is what's on the inside. And that, to me, that's the most important beauty that we really need to focus on. And that is one of the great things about this makeup, just bringing it back to that. That might sound really cheesy, but I don't think we should spend hours and hours obsessing about what we look like and how we look and trying to make our makeup perfect and everything like that. I love that this system is super quick and you can just slap it on really fast and accentuate your features that you like and not obsess about things that you don't like. So it can be just a really quick, like 5-minute highlight and contour job. There you go, boom. You feel yourself, you feel fabulous. You can focus on things that matter more, right? But this group is, of course, a makeup group. So I know that that's what everybody's here for, and we like makeup. It's fun. It should be fun. It shouldn't be something we're obsessing about in a negative way, where it's like, you know, we want to change this and that about ourselves. It should be about bringing out our natural features. So that was a big rabbit trail, I realized. But when I'm talking about the nose, I'm not talking about changing your entire nose, but I'm talking about defining your natural bone structure, not like the fleshy parts of the nose that really change quite a bit over time and are harder to define and can sometimes take away from those features that you really love about your face, like particularly your eyes. That tends to be the area that you really want to emphasize with makeup, right? Even with contour, we're kind of bringing everything up so that we can frame around the eyes. We're even going around the forehead, bringing things down so we can frame around the eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. They are the beautiful, like sparkling gems of your face, right? So that's what we want to emphasize all the time. And so contouring your nose actually can help to emphasize your eyes, because it just kind of minimizes this and makes lots of room for those beautiful eyes. So number one, it can just give a very youthful effect because your natural nose is slimmer than it will grow to be as we age. But more importantly, it just makes lots of room for the eyes, which is nice. All right. So that's done, and you probably saw that I just kind of tapped over this blemish here with my multitasker brush, that's this one here, and I just dipped slightly, very slightly with the tiny end into my highlight, and I just pinpointed that area that's Still a little red and showing through, and just tapped it in like that. And with active blemishes, I also like to set it with, not with foundation, that is foundation, but I'm setting with my Vanilla Dust setting powder, which will just help because blemishes continue secreting sebum all through the day. And so in particular, if you're doing your makeup in the morning, by the evening, if you have an active blemish, it's probably going to just continue, you know, letting that oil go, and it will eventually break up your makeup if you don't set it really well. And so I'm not a huge powder fan, but I do love our Vanilla Dust setting powder for specific things, and that's one of them. So setting on top of an active blemish. Also in the summertime, I get pretty oily in a few areas that I don't want a lot of shine. So I do love that dewy shine on my cheekbones. I don't love it kind of in my T-zone area, so I like to go over that area a little bit with my Vanilla Dust. And sometimes I'll go under my eyes, but I don't want a lot of powder under there because I don't want things creasing too much. So just a really light little application of powder can help things to kind of stay in place. Because under the eyes, that area moves so often. And the best thing you could do when your eyes are constantly moving and it kind of can move your makeup around, cream is great because it doesn't set in there and just crack, you know, under your eyes and really emphasize fine lines and make fine lines look like big crevices like a lot of makeup does. Cream makeup moves with your skin, so you will see it kind of pill a little bit through the day. It might like gather, but then you just go in and just touch it with your fingers and it will just warm it up and blend it right back out, and then you're done. So you don't really have to worry too much with cream makeup about under eyes the same way that you would with other makeup, and I really like that fact. If you want it set in place and you don't want it moving, the Vanilla Dust, you can go under there with that Vanilla Dust and it will set it a lot better. But just keep in mind, it will look great when you have your eyes just flat, but as soon as you start smiling and moving, you will see it kind of wrinkle up, right? So it depends on what you're going for. If you're doing pictures, that's great. But if you're just having regular conversation, you're talking, you're smiling, just keep in mind, nothing is ever going to stay completely flat like that, like, you know, Botox or something with makeup. All right, so moving on, let's do some blush. So I wanted to show you, I keep using a combination of my summery colors, so my nice bright, fun colors that I've been rocking all summer that I really love. Ruby being one of them. You can see I love that color and I use it all the time. So that's one that I've been using. But I've started integrating plum and nude a lot in with my colors and mixing them together. And I'm thinking forward to fall because fall is coming soon. Unfortunately, sorry about that, but it's true, it's August now. So fall's coming and we're gonna be thinking about colors that are very beautiful for fall. So those muted, rich, neutral tones or warmer tones. So plum is a cool neutral color, and this is beautiful for fall. And you know, even like the more vampy colors are great for fall, but usually we want like more deep but subdued colors for fall, don't we? Plum, nude, sandstone is a really beautiful one that's a little warmer, but I think of those types of colors for fall. In the summer, I want nice, vibrant hues. So, see, this is plum, and this looks amazing on lots of people. On me, because it's very cool, and I'm already pretty cool, it kind of just adds so much coolness that it can give me like a lackluster, I feel it's too cool and too dark for me on its own. I actually really like dark colors. But it's funny because a warmer toned girl, this color looks amazing on you if you have some natural warmth to your skin. So it's funny because you would think, oh, cool girls should wear cool colors and warm girls should wear warm colors, but it's really not that simple all the time. So this is a very pretty color, but it's that very cool, all of a sudden I look kind of icy and pale almost, right? So it's great in the fall, and I would totally rock this in the fall with certain colors, but we're still in summer, And so even though I love having this in my arsenal, I still want some brightness. So I like to mix colors like Dahlia, Cindy, and Ruby here. Even Frenchie looks really nice mixed with plum. Corally colors look really great mixed with plum. It's gonna change the whole look when you mix two colors together. So this is a nice, bright, vibrant pink ruby. And when I mix it with plum, all of a sudden I've got this beautiful, rich, jewel toned lip shade that I really, really like. And it's not super bright, but it's still bold and fun, and I really, really love this color. So it's fun to think about, well, what colors might I like to add to my compact for fall and winter? And think about how you could mix them now with colors that you have for spring and summer, and they actually make beautiful brand new shades. So you can be kind of your own little chemist and mix colors together as you like. I also feel like this shade makes my teeth look a little bit whiter for some reason. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and I'll show you what those two colors actually look like on my cheeks too. I like this blend brush for my cheeks because it's soft and feathery, but not too big. I do really like the blush and bronzer brush too, and obviously hence the name, it's made for that, but I have kind of narrow cheeks here, and if I use that big end, sometimes it applies more than what I want, especially if I want to keep kind of a more chiseled look. So this is plum on the cheeks, and I do like this. Okay. A lot of people think that you can't get away with wearing those darker shades on your cheeks, but you really can, and actually it's really pretty. So that's plum. I actually really like that even on its own. I don't know that I need to add ruby, but ruby is really pretty too. It's a nice vibrant shade, so maybe you'd apply a little bit of that just to the apples of the cheeks up here a little more. I typically will apply my blush just above my contour. If you're interested though, I do have a blush placement guide, because depending on your face shape and what you're trying to achieve, you might want blush in different areas. So maybe I will do that and show you where I put that. Now, I've kind of lost that chiseled effect that I had before with my contour, and that's okay. I actually don't mind this look because my face is already pretty long, so I don't necessarily want a super carved out, defined contour all the time, but that can be a really fun look, and I'll show you what you can do. If you have contoured your face and you feel like you've blended so much that you can't see that contour line as well, you could add more contour for sure, but another thing that you can do is to define it with your highlight. So rather than adding a lot more dark shadow to the face, go under that contour line with your brightening shade, either shade actually, but if you want more of a real contrast, you can go under with your brightening shade and see if you kind of go in almost like a little check mark here or a Nike swoosh. So starting from your smile line here, down and then back, you can really carve out and define that contour line without having to add more dark brown shadow. Okay, and so see the difference on this side. Two different looks, I like them both, but if you want more of that chiseled effect, consider your highlight. Anything that you add highlight to is going to make that area really prominent and kind of come forward optically. And anything you add shadow to creates that recession, makes it go backwards. So that's why the contour is nice, because it just really sculpts and defines and chisels the face. But if you want to really define a certain area of your face, think about how the contour really just allows you to make the prominent part come forward the way you want it. So it's not just about the dark shadows, It's more actually about the light that the shadow is defining, okay? So same goes for the top here. I have some dark natural shadow under my eyes here, again from lack of sleep. I think it's fine the way I've just put on my normal highlights, but if I wanted to really brighten a lot more under my eyes, I could go in, I'll take this multitasker brush, and I could just really go around that darkest part of my under eye here, feather it out a tiny bit, like that, and either use the other end of the multitasker or just use my nice well, just kind of meld it in, and I just tap that in and see how it just adds a little bit of extra brightness. Another really beautiful brightener for the eye area, in particular if you have some darkness under your eyes, some prominent like purpley colors, is sunlit. And that's because it's yellow, so the yellow shade really counteracts those purpley tones, and that's a beautiful brightener, not just under the eyes, but everywhere. It's actually a really fantastic color. Anybody that got the Summer Glow kit will know that sunlit is really quite a great tool to have, and it's kind of intimidating at first because it looks so yellow in the pan, but just like everything that we have at Saint, it's like very, very concentrated and highly pigmented, so a little goes a long way, and it blends out so well that it's not like you're just putting a bunch of yellow right on your face. Okay, so that's that. Now, if I wanted to add a little bit of a bronzer, I could do that. I love my Bella, so maybe I'll do that, and I will use my blush and bronzer brush here. The other thing though, a lot of you have Glow Illuminator, which I really like to mix with my Bella. Oh, that's rose gold, which is also a great option actually. That's my perfume. I had Bella in my, I did an in-person party yesterday, and so I have all my stuff. I brought it all out and did a few in-person makeovers, and that was really fun, but I'm losing track of where all my stuff is. So here's Glow. And Glow, actually, for somebody really pale like me, you could even get away with only using Glow instead of a bronzer. I've done this before if I just want a really subtle hint of bronzy glow, because this is a lot more subtle. If I show you here, the two colors look really similar in the pan, but the bronzer is matte, it's satin, so it's like opaque, but it's a cream, so it will blend out really well. However, the illuminators are all sheer, right? So here is, for reference, here's Bella, okay? And here is Glow, okay? So when we spread out Bella, she will diffuse, but you're still gonna get that beautiful bronze. When you spread out Glow, it's transparent. So it's still nice and bronzy, but you can tell it's a lot more sheer, right? So especially in the winter time, if I don't want a really prominent bronzy look, because I get really pale in the winter, right? So it tends to look a little less natural on me, then I will sometimes just use Glow on its own, and it will give a nice bronzy sheer effect with a little bit of dewiness rather than a matte look. And I kind of like that. I don't like the shimmery, sparkly bronzers that you can get. I just find them really, really unnatural, and I think they can look kind of gaudy, especially on me because I am really pale and kind of cool toned, and so it just doesn't look right. But Glow is sheer enough. It doesn't really have a shimmer or like a glitter, but it just has a bit of a glimmer to it, if that makes sense. So that kind of a dewy quality, just like all of the cream illuminators. And this is the darkest of all the cream illuminators. It definitely has more color than the other shades. And I don't like the other shades, I would use them as a pretty glimmery highlight, you know, at the top points of my face. Whereas Glow, I like it as a bronzy, you know, a dewy glow. So this is just Glow Illuminator, no Bella bronzer. And I actually think I'm gonna leave it at that and not add Bella, because I kind of like the way that is looking. So keep that in mind too. It's a really pretty one to have on hand. And so if you got the Summer Glow kit, you would have gotten Bella and Glow, and I like to mix the two together a lot of times to kind of sheer out that Bella. But Bella is beautiful on its own. It's really, really nice too. And it just depends on how much of a tan you're really looking to achieve. This is nice and sheer. I like that. Okay, and Glow actually can also be worn. They're such versatile products, honestly, all of the products, but the illuminators can just be used for so many different things. And Glow you can actually use like on your eyelids, on your lips. You saw me put that there. So if you have kind of a lighter lip color and you wanted to make it a little bit deeper, a little bit more bronzy, you can add that to it. And I really like Glow on the eyes too. I just think it's really nice. So I think this video is long enough now. I'm going to skip the eye tutorial and I'm going to film that separately in case anyone's interested in that. But you can totally just use a little bit of your illuminator or your bronzer or your contour or your lip and cheek on your eyes and call it a day. This look would take me about 5 minutes if I was not chatting on, and it can take you 5 minutes too. So let me know if you would like a color match, or if you'd like an updated color match, or you just want some suggestions for some new colors in your palette. I'd be very happy to help you, and stay tuned for the next video.